It's so weird to think that there are storefronts on the internet that you can use to buy things. We've had retail for such a long time. It's almost as old as time itself, really. And the fact that you can now buy anything you could really want online is just insane. Look at Amazon. You can get yourself a new toothbrush delivered right to your house within a few hours with the mere push of a button. I remember when Halo 5 was released, and I stood in line outside of a game for the midnight release to make sure that I could secure myself a copy just as it was coming out. Whereas now, we can just order a digital copy of a game and have it preloaded onto our accounts and our consoles so it's ready at a moment's notice. The internet has taken away a lot of the effort out of all new releases for the majority of people. When the original Modern Warfare 2 came out, and that feels really weird to say by the way, it was out of stock everywhere, so I couldn't get it for weeks. But see, every console has their own storefront. But when it comes to PC gaming, it's quite clear which storefront is the best storefront. And before you say it, no, it's not Rockstar. Steam started out in 2003 as just a way for Valve to release automatic updates for its own games, but it quickly grew to become what we know it today. The biggest marketplace and game launcher for PC gaming that comes equipped with so many things that have just become the norm in most gaming circles. You have achievements for games, so you can go and flex on your friends when you 100% one of your games. You can have an incredibly customizable profile that allows you to show off things that you want to show off. You can put forward the best parts of your gaming repertoire. And it has community pages on literally every game, as well as guides to help you through all of those tough moments. Reviews to allow other people to know what they're getting themselves into, although, to be honest, a lot of the time they can be pretty trolly, but it's always an incredible read. It's also a great place to be if you want to add your friends and chat to them. I'll be honest, I've never really used it for like voice chat or anything because, well, you know, Discord exists. But on occasion I've sent a message and it seems to work quite well. But I probably would just stick to Discord though on that one. They also produce hardware. I mean, not Steam themselves, but Valve do. Look at the Valve Index, one of the best VR headsets on the market. And then obviously you have the ever-growing Steam Deck, which is basically blowing everyone's minds at the moment. A portable handheld device that runs off of SteamOS. I think it's fair to say that they've got their fingers in a lot of different pies right now. But the point is, for something that is basically just supposed to be a shopfront, it does an incredible job at so many other things that it can pretty much just blow past all of the competition. And that's the main thing that I want to get into. The competition. There's so many other launchers out there that the whole market is just flooded. And if you want to be a PC gamer, you're going to have to learn what comes from where, and more importantly, which ones you actually need to install on your PC. Now the first one is Epic Games, probably the closest thing that Steam has to any form of actual competition. This one is most commonly known as the Fortnite launcher. This one actually isn't too bad. The store side of things works quite well, the videos and screenshots don't load properly, and the whole thing is a little bit janky, but it at least is coherent. Some of the games do have achievements, which is great, but most don't, which makes it kind of pointless for the ones that do have them. Then there's the library feature, which is honestly just hard to use and a little bit of a shambles. But the point is, like Todd Howard has always said, it just works.
All of this just works. I'm not kidding.
I mean, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, it's the launcher that most people will go onto once a week just to check if there's a new free game. And if there is, they'll add it to their library and then probably never play it. Personally, I think I've brought like 12 games over on Epic, and that's about it. Most of the time I'll only buy a game on Epic if it's either exclusive there or it's a lot cheaper than it would be on Steam. But with that being said, since the release of the Steam Deck, I've come much further away from using Epic, as I want my games to work out of the box instead of having to go through the heroic launcher, but that's a story for another day. Then we move on to one of the worst excuses for a launcher, Origin. So much so that it receives such a bad reputation, they had to basically change the entire thing. Origin was cancelled, and then they started to rebuild the EA app, which, let's be honest, it isn't that much better. The Origin app was a buggy mess. It mainly sold their own titles, but it did have some third-party titles involved as well. This made it more worthwhile to have in your arsenal. But the problem with it is, the storefront was so bad that there was almost no point in trying to actually traverse it, because it would take you around 6 months just to get to the second page of the store. I mean, the EA app is slightly better, but slightly is the key word there. When it first came out, it was somehow worse than Origin, which was a shocker to everybody, because I genuinely didn't think you could get much worse than that. You can add friends, which still does basically nothing, and you can buy their games, which do work most of the time. And then the one thing that becomes even more annoying is that even if you own a game on Steam, and you bought it through Steam, you still have to have the EA launcher installed in order to play it. Thank you very much, EA, for ruining my experience with Titanfall 2 and your faulty launcher. I mean, it's not all bad. They do offer a subscription for it, so you can play EA games for a monthly cost instead of shelling out for the full game. It's kind of like EA's version of Game Pass. So if you want to play Assassin's Creed or Battlefield, at least you don't actually have to pay for them. Or you could just get Game Pass, because Game Pass also has EA Play on it, but, you know, it's fine. And then we can argue for one of the most pointless ones, and I really do mean it, pointless launchers. The Rockstar launcher has the ability to launch 11 games. You can buy and use it for 11 games, and that is it. An entire launcher just for that. I mean, I would say it's fine, you can just buy the games on Steam instead, but even then you still need to have the Rockstar launcher installed in order for it to actually work, the same as EA. So thanks for that one, Rockstar. We love the excess bloatware for no reason. But then we'll talk about one of the slightly better ones, Xbox. If you've got Game Pass, this thing works a treat. It's relatively responsive, and since it's been out of beta, it's been around for a little while now, most of the kinks have been worked out. But I will say on launch it was absolutely horrific. If you have an Xbox account because you have or had an Xbox, this one works really well. You get all the same things that you get with Steam, bar the community bits, massively customizable profiles, and the game reviews. However, if you don't want to be locked into paying monthly subscriptions, then again, this one isn't really for you. Game Pass is incredible, the idea that a game that you're trying to make your way through can just be taken away from you without you even realizing. It's going to be heartbreaking. Sure, you can just buy the games on there as well, but it just seems like a weird place to do so. Now, I'm not too sure about how other people feel about it, but I don't particularly see the Xbox launcher as a storefront, and more so a Netflix rental service. And then there's the last one that I'm going to talk about. The one that most people will be aware of. Most people will use it to some degree, even though it is one of the worst launchers going. You can use this launcher to play Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Overwatch. But that's pretty much it. It has a friend list that no one ever really uses, except for inviting people into lobbies, and to be honest, even Blizzard has given up on this. The Call of Duty games were taken away from Steam when Modern Warfare came out, and since Modern Warfare 2, well, they've gone back onto Steam. I think this is really just to admit defeat. To realise that most people who want to play Call of Duty don't actually want to have to install a completely different launcher when realistically it's only useful if you're a strong World of Warcraft player. Or Diablo. Sorry, I forgot about Diablo. The one thing that I will give them credit for, if you buy Modern Warfare 2 on Steam, you do not need Battle.net to launch it. It will just launch from Steam, which is a beautiful thing to happen. Rockstar, EA, please take note of this. Quality of life is so important. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I really hope you've been using Steam. And if you haven't, jump on it. It's so much better than the rest. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like on it down below, and subscribe if you're new. Let me know down below which is your least favourite launcher, and yeah, I know I missed a load, but the fact there's enough for me to miss some is already an issue. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.